Almost 3 years ago, I began documenting my progress of the painting techniques I had learned while watching YouTube. I'm glad to say I've come a long way since then, but there's always more to learn, practice, and share. So, bienvenidos and welcome to my channel. Episode 49 Kingdom Death Commission The Butcher Part 2. And now follow along as I wrap up the first half of my commission, Butcher. The first half of this project had some rocky starts, but I think the end result turned out better than I had hoped. I picked back up with the metallics, since I had already primed and added the new cleaver. I had found one in my STL collection as part of another model, so I printed and hacked it up to complete this project. Continuing with my recipe of Pro Acryl Dark Silver and Silver, I finished the new blade and did some touch-ups before moving on. I used the dark bronze and bronze for the faceplate. It's a small part of the Mini, but it needs to stand out from the rest of the head details. Metallics done, I moved on to the two areas where the butcher's skin was exposed, his hands. I wanted him to have a hard, weathered look, so I chose Fanatics Topaz skin for the base and Tourmaline skin for the mid-tones. And it was at this point that the Mini broke off the base. Again. Thankfully, everything stayed on the desk and it was an easy fix. But then I thought, fuck it, and decided to focus on the base while I had easy access to that area of the model. I had previously added some texture and basing elements, but didn't like how it turned out before painting, so I removed some of the excess basing that was crowding the Mini and making it look too busy. I used Fanatics Fur Brown for the base color because I wanted a hint of red to seep through as if the ground was saturated with blood. I went back over the base with Fanatics Buffed Hide to bring the colors of the ground back up to a lighter tone. I had planned to do a water effect on both minis, but I wanted them to represent different areas of the same swamp, bog, marsh thing. For the Butcher, I wanted the water to be shallow, giving the impression that he's on the edge of the water, whereas I planned for the Phoenix to have more deeper water around it, but that's another story. I'm happy with the way everything turned out. It was my first time using the water texture, and it was pretty straightforward, but I learned a few things for the next attempt. I had also added some Army Painter Wasteland tufts both in and out of the water, adding to the gloomy vibe I was going for. With the bulk of the base done, I touched up the rocks with Fanatics Ash Gray, added some moldy wash to the water, giving it that murky algae detail on the edges of the water, and I think it turned out great. Finally, I hit the rim with some Fanatics Matte Black and called it good. Hopping back to the Mini, it was time to finish the details I hadn't done yet. the leather and the wooden parts. For the leather, I went with a base of Fanatics Bootstrap Brown, setting the tone for worn, aged leather. Finishing those parts off with a mid-tone layer of Fanatics Leather Brown, I got the leather tones I was hoping for. For the few spots of wood on the handles of the blades, I went with, well, actually I don't remember what I went with. I put all the paints away before writing this out, and so your guess is as good as mine, but I know they were from the Fanatic line. And brown. With the bulk of the Mini painted and glued together, it was time to clean the Mini up. Using the paint I had already used so far, I went back over the Mini and cleaned up the bleed, splash over, and slop on the bones, lantern, skin, fur, and metal. With all the Mini covered, it was time to add some final details and clean up the lines. I went with Fanatics Dry Blood and True Blood effects to cover the two cleavers, using the darker blood further away from the edge of the blade, then mixing in the lighter version as I approached the edges. I do like how the new effect came out, but it was a little too heavy-handed on the blood, so I will need to dial that back at the end. I added the Army Painter gemstone paint to the eyes of the faceplate to bring out the eye detail and give it more of a mask look. With the Mini painted, it was time to add the washes for details and matte varnish to seal it all up. I liked how this Mini turned out. Last episode, I was not so optimistic about me overcoming the issues I was having to work with, but now I'm happy with the end results. Tell me what you think about my work in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you may have painted this Mini. If you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it, high five the like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. That's it for this time. Next episode, I'll be back working on the Phoenix. Until then, remember, they ain't gonna paint themselves.